It is the end of an era now. This was the last week for subbed of the past season of anime. It has been phenomenal. It has been great, but it has come to a close. I think that this is going to be really cool because the next podcast episode is going to be dramatically different, in my opinion, from what we've been doing since the start. I feel like having all these new animes come out and be watching more animes all at once, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about, and the time within these episodes is going to be, have a lot more variety. So I feel like the next episode for the podcast is going to be pretty insane. We have some pretty phenomenal animes coming out. If you didn't see the video, I have it linked in the description. We talk about the whole new season, the spring season of anime. It was awesome. It was a good time. But super excited. We had some insane finales this week. Let's just, dude, which one? Classroom of the Elite or Solo Leveling?
Let's get into solo leveling, dude. I got so many questions.
Dude, all right, listen. The island is throwing me off. Let's talk about that real quick. So we have we
Okay.
have the island here. So they talked about it for 2 episodes, but they didn't do shit with it. They've been traveling to the island for 2 whole episodes. I don't know why they brought it in so early. And then also, what was that thing that they saw on the radar? What was up with that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like they teased it and kind of built it up for like the finale. So I thought we would get maybe some backstory or see like the initial part of what's going to happen there. But
Hmm.
yeah, they kind of trolled us, man. As soon as they get like over the waters, it was tough to tell maybe a boat or something like kind of small, but
Yeah,
immediately like cuts away and we don't hear anything after that.
because it seems it goes 2 episodes of them talking about the island, going to the island, just for that, for like a cliffhanger. I'm wondering, in my stupidity, where I'm always wrong, is Jinwoo on the island? Is that where he is? Did that
Yo,
teleporter
that's
take him to the island, and
uh,
that's what they're seeing?
all right, sweet. I definitely had that thought too watching this episode because
Yeah.
like I would assume it's like a hub of activity. There's like a lot of stronger monsters there, or, a lot of portal activity. So is he getting transported back there? Are they connected, the island and the system? Because like we saw him during the penalty go to this like desert region. Are they, in a different dimension? Are they just like actual places that he's going to? Because I could definitely see them like parlaying the island into some of these episodes because we really haven't gotten anything yet in these first few episodes.
Yeah, like so I think like the system is like not necessarily a video game. It's portrayed like one, but I feel like since it came from that other world, it's kind of transporting him to different places. Like I feel like that castle thing is on the other world. I think the desert might be on the other world just because I feel like if there was all those monsters in the Earth desert, they would know. But from that
True.
kind of dungeon that he was in, that very easily could have been the island because it kind of looked more so human. You know what I mean? It didn't look like it was on another world. It was kind of like a man-made thing. And then there's a bunch of just summonings. That's where all those knights were. So it was like, yeah, could he have been on the island, kind of like underneath of it, and that's what they're kind of seeing? I think that that could also be completely wrong because I just think of all this like weird stuff, and I'm like, oh, that would be an awesome idea, and I get too carried away, and then it's like not even close, like completely wrong.
I felt like we did pretty decent with our predictions from the last episode though. Like we started to see some more skills and I mean, I guess 50-50 because I definitely was not expecting him to go down this route or like this job change.
Yeah, I hated that they called
Um
it a job change. It's a class change. That makes way more
yeah,
sense. Like job change, I thought that he was going to stop being a hunter. Like that's his job. But class change, that makes perfect sense of like kind of getting into something else with a new set of skills. So I hate that they call it a job change. That made no sense to me.
it didn't really make sense and I was kind of wondering are they doing this to make him like more well-rounded? I guess the whole idea to make him OP and make Jinwoo like super strong everywhere like we've seen that he's got strength, he's got like finesse and speed, he's got the stealth abilities, murderous intent. We know he can go crazy. Obviously, keeping up with Igris is like a pretty impressive feat, I
Hmm.
think. Well, beating him. So to like kind of make him more like mage focused was definitely not something I was expecting. But then to be able to like summon stuff, that's really like interesting. I feel like you can kind of give him like a really sweet arsenal later down the line with some cool summons, which would make for a pretty broken team. You know what I mean? They're like going in dungeons and stuff. He might not even need, other people there because he can just summon an entire army.
Yeah, so I got two things about that. So the one thing is that like they always kind of do that where they're like, okay, let's take someone who is fits this build and then give them something else, and it just makes them super broken. It's like in that anime, The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. He has healing magic, right? So he obviously heals people. Well, he's on the front lines and he's like fighting at the same time. You know what I mean? Which makes him super broken because not only can he fight and do a ton of damage and kick ass, but he also can heal everybody. He also can just do all this other stuff. So it's like not only do you have Jinwoo who has this build of like an assassin of like a really agility kind of build with the stealth and the insane combat. But it's like, okay, now he can like summon stuff. Now he has like the kind of like sorcerer kind of skill set in his back pocket as well, kind of more so given to him because he didn't have to build it. You know what I mean? He didn't have to work for it or put the skill points there. It's kind of like, it's a double edged sword that the one side he refined and then the other side he was given. So kind of cool, kind of annoying. Just like you kind of want to see him in his build that's him that he created that he wants to do. That's his fight style, and he's kind of given this other side to it that's OP. So if someone beats him at his own game, he then has this switchblade kind of thing where he can just take out another tool and work
Yeah.
it from that angle.
Also, like the abilities, I feel like he's getting. Obviously, there's like a counter to the stealth ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're OP, like being able to use. I forget what they called it, but like this psychic ability to like pull stuff, to your hands or like manipulate objects without touching them. I feel like that's super broken. And as he continues to develop, stuff like that will make him like impossible to deal with.
There is limits to it though. So the whole thing with the stealth that we kind of saw is that it does have like liability because it does take a lot of mana to activate. So when he activated
Yeah,
it
true.
and there was a countermeasure to it, he was like, "I'm screwed." Because like I can't activate it again. You know what I mean? That was like my one shot thing. So we also saw that too with Mana Drain, where this kind of what we're gonna call it, like a sorcerer or whatever, kind of skill set. It seems to be very mana draining. So we're gonna see how he kind of keeps up with that. Because apparently to hold all those soldiers and to kind of like keep them tucked away in like an inventory, it costs mana. It drains it. That's what it was saying. So that's something that's gonna be pretty interesting to kind of see. Maybe it's one of those things where last episode we were talking about it was awesome because he kind of got humbled, kind of got knocked down a peg. It was kind of cool because it's not like just he's a god now. Instantly new powers, cool. And then this episode, that's exactly what happened. We had that massive jump in skill. So maybe that's what's going to kind of be that next kind of pullback, the next kind of bring down that next kind of hurdle is you got to manage your mana because now you have all these different things that cost mana, and if you're not smart with it, you're going to run out and then not have anything to be able to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like the next hurdle will be like investing in like intelligence, I think he says, and kind of buffing his stats so he can use more of his like mage abilities. But yeah, I feel like he got a lot of rewards for I feel like playing doing these quests and like doing the things that the system is asking him to do. He's doing it all by himself and just kind of running with it. But he's been pretty successful so far. It seemed like he got a lot of bonuses and like
So many.
rewards. Yeah, so like I don't know. I feel like his rewards up to this point have been, or his efforts have been rewarded up to this point, which is really sick. But it'll be interesting to see. I guess he was level 47 before like he summoned everybody. So like kind of like we said last week, as he gets closer to like 100 or whatever, his ceiling is. It'll be interesting to see how those abilities evolve and like what else he can do.
Yeah, completely. It's insane. He leveled up so much. I mean, he fought for like what, 9 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours. Who knows? That guy just
Yeah.
nonstop. Because he went into that dungeon, fought all of those guys, but when he had that penalty, that was for 4 hours he had to survive. So that's 4 hours there, and then he came back. So this guy just was nonstop fighting. That like what instant getting rid of fatigue. Like we need that in real life, man. That would be so sick, just to be nonstop going. But also the other thing about his kind of like skill set and powers is that like it kind of said that he had to be like a lone wolf, which is interesting. Is there like a penalty if he doesn't? Is that kind of keeping him solo? Because I was talking about like, oh, here's this kind of like introduction to his new class where I was kind of saying those like paragraphs, and it kind of said the one who walks alone. So it's like,
Hmm.
is this kind of solidifying that he will be alone for like this entire journey, or is he eventually gonna branch off and get people? Because that's something we talked about in past episodes, where we'd love to see him with other people and kind of have a team and kind of see those interactions. But it kind of seems like at the same time they keep kind of dragging him to, no, dude, like you're alone. It's all on you. You know, forget everybody else, which is interesting to see how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, and like he kind of voices some of those doubts. Like that first dungeon where everything transpires, the double dungeon. You see like young, well, I guess not young, but like weaker Jinwoo talking to him. Um, He's like saying, he should quit. This is dangerous. So like they kind of voice some of those doubts, but he obviously, overcomes that and like you said, kind of focuses on doing this himself, like no matter what he has to do. Um, I think maybe we'll get something with his sister's classmate, the other like really weak E rank hunter. Maybe we'll do something with that, and then the guild master, the old guy with the scars. He kind of had touched on like reawakening. So I would guess, without any knowledge, I would just guess that maybe they would touch on that, and maybe there would be somebody else like Jinwoo. So even though he's doing this stuff on his own, he's not the only one experiencing, the system or these quests that they have to do.
Well, yeah, it seems like that guildmaster also is like really open to kind of bringing if he finds Jinwoo and kind of like, oh, I understand. Like you have this reawakening, you're leveling up and doing all this stuff. Like come to the guild. You're gonna be at the kind of very top. So he's kind of saying like be kind of the new light of the guild. So it seems like he's been searching for somebody like him to kind of take things over and to bring humans to that next level or hunters to that next level to really be able to get stronger and to grow and to evolve.
Yeah, he'll definitely be like LeBron James. Everybody will be after him, like the big free agent. You know what I mean? Taking his
Yeah.
talents to whatever guild. So that'll be cool. I'd like to see him kind of like, be the man. Everybody kind of fight after his services, so to speak. I think that would be cool. Because he still wants to lay low, but it seems pretty impossible at this point with his strength. And then maybe how, I guess, to see how this reconnaissance mission on Jeju Island goes, we'll maybe put Jinwoo at the forefront of whatever's next there with
Especially if
this
they
guild
find him
master.
there.
Yeah, whatever happens, I think it feels like almost like fate, like he'll end up there or they'll use him to get more information on the island.
Yeah, so it really will be cool if they do find him there because it seems like they're leading a whole bunch of different kind of trails, paths that they can take, but they haven't fully gone in on any of them or kind of really discussed or shown us what the possibilities are because they keep talking about the island and we takes what 2 3 episodes for them to get there. We keep bringing up his sister and his her classmate, and it's like, well, what's going on with that? Because they kept showing his sister being like, oh, like where is he? He's not here. Oh, he's still not here. Oh, why have that parent or guardian teacher conference coming up? Is he going to be here? Is he going to be there for that? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they keep touching on certain things that kind of make no sense right now, but seems like they are going to evolve and kind of push somewhere. I'm guessing he might show up to that meeting and he's just gonna be a little late, and then her friend's gonna be there, and there's gonna be that interaction because Buddy's looking different again. Like he keeps getting nicer in both the skills and the looks. So he's just gonna show up and she's gonna
Yeah.
be like, "What the fuck? We were just doing dungeons like 3 weeks ago, and now you're like a different guy again. Like what is going on?" So that could be something that happens as well. I'm just really interested to see where like all these trails lead.
Yeah, they got to flesh out some of these like plot points, which hopefully they will in like the second core later this year. I definitely think they'll explore some stuff with the island. Um, but I think he'll have to juggle some of his like personal life and responsibilities outside of work, so to speak. And that'll maybe be another hurdle, trying to lay low and not give away too much information, but also like explain, yeah, why he's out for, entire days at a time. Because his sister's definitely catching on to like the evolution of his work. He's not just like clearing dungeons and coming home.
That could be something that's also explained if he joins that guild. Because he just kind of talks to that guy, kind of explains what's going on, and then he has that free pass of, okay, do whatever you need to do. Do your own work.
Yeah,
You can hide it behind guild business type of thing, and then you have a massive guild with endless money kind of financing anything you want.
that would be sweet. It'll be cool to see
Yeah.
how they kind of like vie for his abilities and stuff. Because you have the construction, guild trying to make their way and find their spot. you have the people going to Jeju Island and like the White Tiger Guild. So it'll be cool to see like kind of how he manipulates the situation, I think, to best benefit him. But like that would be cool to me because obviously he played that guy who tried to recruit him a couple episodes ago. So I would like to see a little bit more of that, or him like make his stand and say, this is what I want, like define maybe what he wants to do a little bit better. Or like, maybe fund his mother's treatment or something like that.
Hmm.
Like it'll be cool to see how that plays out. But you're definitely right. I want to see them dive into these like side plot points a little bit
There's
more.
so many of them too. Like so many
Yeah.
of them. There's so many little areas that they just keep showing us, and it's like, is that just useless? Is that just something that's just never been talked about or never like touched on again? Or is like that going to lead somewhere? Like, is this all kind of transpiring to something? Like, I feel like, I feel like we evolved a lot in this first season, and a lot's happened. But at the same time, with how many little pathways we have here, it's like, is this like even the start yet? You know what I mean? Like, have we even started technically the anime? For the people that read the manga, is that like, is this even like the beginning so far, or is this kind of like where we're just kind of starting that? This is gonna just erupt and become this massive thing and just really kind of go on because since we haven't read the manga and since this is the first season, we don't really know where this is leading up to. We don't know what the system wants. We don't know what's up with the island. Is that going to be a one-off thing where they kind of just go there, kill everything, and be done with it? Like, are they going to go after that god and try to kill him, or are they kind of like try to harness that? But like, what are they going to do? We still have like really no idea what the actual plot of this anime is, other than the suit's just getting stronger. And that could just be it. I mean, it is called solo leveling, but if like the literal plot is for this entire thing for seasons on top of seasons is just okay, he's just gonna grind levels like he's been. I feel like it would not have this level of hype because that doesn't sound too interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they run with it because I feel like there's a lot of content. So like
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like you're building a really interesting story. We're like kind of hooked into all these different plot points, and you want to see where this stuff goes. So hopefully they do run with it. I feel like it's built up really well. It definitely has me wanting, another season. So I feel like they've done a good job, but hopefully, yeah, they explore some of these points and give other characters depth too. Not that I don't want to see Jinwoo become, super OP and just dominate. I think that would be sweet, but just give some other characters a little bit more depth, which I feel like it definitely will with these other like storylines going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't even know like who the actual characters that are gonna be with him are. That's why it's like, okay, is that
Yeah.
kind of what all these pathways and trails are? These little, little points that they're making. Is that like, oh, is his sister's friend gonna be someone that works with him? Is his sister? Is that one a blonde girl that's a hunter that's super strong? It's just kind of like I just feel like we're not even at the beginning yet. I feel like this is the beginning of the beginning. That's what it just feels like because there's just so many questions and just really no answers. But I mean, the animation has been phenomenal. This anime itself has been incredible because it makes us ask all these questions. It wants us craving more, and it just is so good. It's been so enticing, and interesting. And dude, his undead army, they look sick. Those designs
Very
are
cool.
awesome. I was like, oh shit. I was like, they look awesome. So I'm so excited to see part two, season one. It's gonna be amazing. I feel like that half of the season might answer some questions, and then kind of really kind of be the beginning of the anime where we kind of see, okay, like here's kind of an idea what's gonna happen or where it can go.
Yeah, I think we'll have a better idea at the end of the year, kind of like what's next for Jinwoo and kind of where the story's going. Part of me thinks like he's encountered a lot of these people and some of his party members. Some of them die, some of them don't. They have ulterior motives, families, whatever. They're all just kind of like stops on his journey. Like nobody really um or maybe Jinwoo doesn't really settle down with anybody or keep anybody too close. This is just kind of his journey. So maybe that, will kind of be a theme.
They play both sides of it. Where like he's the loner and then he's with
Yeah.
people and then he's the loner and then he's with people. It's like it makes it so confusing of what's actually gonna happen.
Yeah, it's tough to know, but I got to say, I feel like they've done a really good job. Like you said, obviously the animation and the fights have been extremely good and exciting. But the story's definitely stayed vague enough that I'm like, all right, I need a season two. I got
Yeah,
to see what you're cooking here. I'm smelling it, but I got to taste it.
exactly. And dude, I'm a pleb. I remember what I was gonna say earlier. So they keep hinting at stuff that he's going to be able to do. So that the whole thing where we saw Igris, pick up the sword without touching it, and then it's like, oh well, now he has that ability. We constantly see that kind of pattern. I wonder if the other people in his past self that were he was kind of seeing and talking shit to him as he's about to die, if that was a type of skill and if he's going to end up getting that, like some hallucinating kind of skill, some genjutsu in this bitch. You know what I mean? So I'm really
Yeah.
interested to see, was that him like on the brink of death and that was his mind playing games against him? Or was that something in there? Was that one of those wizards or whatever? You know what I mean? Or sorcerers. So it's like that would be really cool to see if he possesses that level of power or if he faces other monsters or enemies that also have that but on a stronger scale. That would be something that's really cool as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I can see him using some of these abilities and like being able to use some like genjutsu on like other hunters or people to
Yeah,
intimidate them or
the
coerce
guilds.
them. Yeah, it makes him more like effective and well, effectively like OP in real life. If he's like casting people's insecurities on him, he's going stealth. Like I'm not messing with this guy. But also it'll help him, in dungeons and stuff too. So
Mm-hmm.
like that would really be cool. It'll be, and I feel like they've been really creative. Like I didn't expect him to be like a necromancer or, have Igris like in his command. So like they've been creative, and I think it'll be really cool to see what else they come up with. They've done a really good job so far.
Yeah, we're gonna see the dual wielding Iris. I can't wait.
Yes,
Finally,
hype.
dude, that's
Yes,
gonna
that'll
be
be sick.
sick. It will. It's gonna be awesome. But Clash Mode the Elite. Oh my god,
Ooh man,
dude,
good stuff.
that's something we've really hit the nail on the head last episode when we're talking about, dude, next season is going to be the Sharks. It is going to be, blood in the water and then dead. It is just going to be a feeding frenzy. It is no more character development. It is no more like friendships. It's war, and they're all coming for Class A. And the last episode, the finale, these Sharks were circling. I mean, everybody came
Yeah,
out, even people from his class that like they never really touched on. Like some of those girls kind of knew what was going on, and he's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "This is interesting." And now one of these people are part of the weight room. Like, okay, we'll see. Like, dude, we're gonna have some people like we have like the heads of the class because Ryuan knowing that someone cheated and that Ayano never really technically lost, was insane. I feel like all of like the big players that we already knew were smart kind of made those moves where we're like, okay, dude, they're hungry, they still got it. This is insane. And then we got some nobodies starting to come up and be like, oh shit. Like we got some other smart people that we didn't really think about that are now gonna be coming in here. Like you can just tell, dude. Next season, it's war. It is gonna be insane.
yes, dude, I'm super excited. I was saying before we started the podcast, I'm like, it's just like spoilers or whatever. Every day I'm like, when is season 4 coming out? I'm like, still haven't heard anything, but I'm hooked. It's been a really, really fun season. I think this finale kind of showed like what you said. There's a lot more like players in the game. Everybody's kind of coming up with their own scheme, and even some of the girls, like I think kind of the extent we've seen them or they've been used in the story is to like facilitate relationships or romance, but like that aspect of romance or lack thereof with certain characters is kind of like exposing other relationships like Ayana Koji, why is he spending so much time with Kay or the other girl he likes to read with? So I think he'll kind of have to start picking, you know what I mean, picking sides. Like obviously with Kay, he made a move there. Very calculated though. Certainly not out of the
Dude,
budding romance of his young heart.
listen, I told you it's not his harem, it's his hit list. I mean,
Yes.
they're the first ones to go. I like it's insane. The way he just talks, yeah, he's like, you know what? I want to build you up, but don't be mistaken. If you're on your last legs, I'll be the one that beheads you. Like I will be the one
Like
that
I'll
gets you
deliver
out of
the
the
final
school.
blow.
Yeah,
It's
it's like,
so good.
and he had that stare, and it's like, oh my god, the fuck. And
It's funny because it's like they kind of had it was like a very serious season compared to some of like the season 1 and 2 episodes where they're just kind of like a little etchy or like typical like high school esque moments or episodes or whatever. You have this kind of like two awkward like teenagers asking each other out. They're embarrassed, and you just see like serial killer Koji like working in his mind. It's so funny, but like I really enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see how Kay does because she's got a lot of pressure.
I mean, dude, you can like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can tell like that he really just doesn't care. Like she is just a tool to him. He could not care less. I mean, the whole thing with him in the cafe, where was a cafe that they were at, where with the girl that he was reading with.
I don't know. Is it
Was it
like
a
a school
library or something?
library
Yeah.
with a Starbucks in it or
He just
something? I
like
don't know.
invites her and she's there. He's like, "What's up?" He's like, "Nothing. I forget. See ya." Like, get the fuck out of my
Spanish.
face.
Yeah, like,
It's like
yeah, that
Jesus
was pretty
Christ.
funny.
And then she just goes back to him like, "Dude, okay, fucking stand up for yourself." Like, come on, like, what's going on here? But it's like, dude, he's coming for all of them. He does not care. What really impressed me though was like some of the girls that really stepped up. Like, the one that he went on a date with, but like didn't really care, and she kind of asked like, "Hey, like, did you even have fun?" And he's like, "No." Like,
Yeah.
she actually came out and said that like, dude, like, I can tell like you're really smart and you're hiding a lot of your ability. Like, are you actually gonna like?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, like some of the people here are actually like observant. Like they actually can like see through some things. I didn't give some people enough credit, and that's what I thought was really cool. Where it's like some of these girls who were just used as like I love this guy, I love that guy, like I have a crush, like a romantic interest type thing, are now like coming in as players. Like we're a part of this game too. We can strategize, we can manipulate, and we can take people out like the best of them. So like it is not just the guys who are going to be running this game and the girls who are just like romantic interests. It's like, dude, everyone's come into play. No more romances, no more dating. It is like kill or be killed next season, and that's what's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I think some of that like human connection theme with Iona Koji, like not so much with the romance, but like, he's got this girlfriend situation he's like trying to prop up. I feel like with Sakana Yagi, I couldn't think of her name. She's like trying to make him a little warmer and like, more trusting to people because he feels like he can do everything on his own. Like when he tells Horikita, like, when I go all out, nobody can beat me, which
Mm-hmm.
might be true, but like, you kind of touched on it. And he noticed some people stepped up, like Ryuen isn't just like a meathead. Like he is pretty smart too. He might be devious, but he noticed that something was up. You know what I mean? Ayana Koji was not going to lose that match. So I think he'll maybe lean on people and learn to trust them more, as they like galvanize and try to get to Class A.
I don't
Because
think
yeah,
he
it
will
was
at
kind of
all
cool.
because
Now you don't think so?
he even said to Ryun like he has a lot of respect for Ryun because Ryun said that he's like, I'm coming for you, and he's like, I'd be okay with losing to someone like you. He's like,
Yeah, no
I'd
way.
be okay like if I were to lose to you because like instead of just like somebody else, you know what I mean? So he acknowledged that he's gonna be taking Ryuen out. Like he's like, I will eventually come for you. But when Ryuen was don't just get too confident. Like I'm coming for you as well. And he's like, I wouldn't be too upset if it was someone like you. Like he has respect for him. He knows that the guy's smart. Especially how he keeps trying to attack him. But like, because it does seem like
Yeah.
Ayana Koji like wants to lose. He's like trying to like understand stuff. Like he's really good and he knows that. But like I think he's just tired of it. Because like when you know everything and you're good at everything, like winning just becomes boring. Because it's just the same thing. It's expected.
Yeah, and that human element, I think, is like the only variable that he's maybe not like on top of. Like this new character from the White Room, I think will pose certain challenges and maybe make things harder. But even he said like nobody has ever, come out of the White Room smarter than me or done it better than him. And I think part of that is being his dad, the director's son, same genes or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, so that'll be interesting to see how his dad plays into it too. But I think he'll crush whoever comes from the White Room. But it'll be interesting to see if he does kind of like use some of these people and like actually value his relationships with them, or if he'll just kind of like, continue to be this cold, calculated guy that does whatever he has to do to reach Class A.
Yeah, like I think he's like more aggressive now where he's like, I want to go and win and kind of get the class A and do whatever, but like he's secretly hoping that like someone delivers that loss to him. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
he kind of just wants to make an impression. It seems like because that's kind of the whole focus of people having conversation with him. Like, hey, like what kind of impression are you gonna leave here? Like, what do you want to do after this type of thing? My whole thing with the person from the White Room, I hope it's been someone that's been there the whole time. I hope it's somebody who's like, oh shit, like the like Koenji. Can you imagine Koenji's from the White Room? That
This
would
ultimate
be
Chad.
awesome. That would be awesome.
Add
Or
to the
the
Koenji lore.
yeah, or like the girl with blue hair, someone you wouldn't think of at all. that was into what's his face. Like that would be sick.
Did the whatever, I guess he is like the interim chairman, did he say it was like an incoming class? So I want to say like they're all new students, but I'm not sure.
Well, I think that like you got to remember the White Room's like smart. They're smarter than him because they created him. So it's like I feel like the second he enrolled in that school, they enrolled somebody, and then a couple other countermeasures. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I feel like they're like 9 steps ahead of him. As much as he wants to think that he's so great, but it's like they created him. They're way older than him and experienced than him, and also he has flaws. That's why I think it'd be so cool if whoever else is from the White Room is someone that we've already seen because then they're social because that's the one thing that he really isn't good at is being social, being outgoing, having those relationships. Hence why he's like, oh, let's try out this whole relationship thing because I have no idea what it's like. I have no idea what I'm supposed to feel, say, or do. So having somebody come from the White Room that's personable, I feel like would be amazing against him. Like someone who can actually act, you know what I mean, and play that part, and that we have no idea it was them.
yeah, I think you're spot on with that because like we've seen a lot of like outwardly appearances. Like Hirata comes to mind, and then like by the end of their arc or whenever they fail to accomplish something, you see the real, character underneath. They have their like backstory where they were making mistakes. So I feel like you're right. That kind of always comes up. It comes to light those weaknesses and stuff like for each character. So I'm sure they'll explore that for Koji too, because he's like almost too smart to be like emotional and invested in people. Like I don't want to say he views them as less than him, but like he knows he's smarter, and I feel like that makes it hard for him to like truly connect with some of these people.
Yeah, and kind of speaking what you're saying about that, how like we are brought like someone has like their arc per se, and at the end of it we get their backstory. There's still so many people we have no idea what their backstory is. That's why it's like one of those people could be someone from the White Room, and that would be something that would be I think awesome against them. Like if that
That
girl
would be
from
sweet.
Class B was like super intelligent as well. Like, can you imagine if she had her personality mixed with Ayana Koji's like intelligence? That's like an unstoppable force. So I feel like having somebody
Lethal.
like that be against him would be something that would not only challenge him but make him grow because he'd be forced to work with other people, not be so isolating, have some actual emotions. You know, because you can always kind of see that. There's always two types of talented people. One that are really technical and by the book and with the numbers, and others that are based off of feel. You know what I mean? Who just have that sense, that instinct. So I feel like Ayan Koji is really technical. He's really this is how things are supposed to be and stuff like that. But I feel like if you have someone who's intelligent that kind of takes those gambles, kind of plays on the emotions, that could be something that's really interesting in the next season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I definitely want to know more about Ayana Koji's dad. I think that would be cool, or just maybe give us a little glimpse into their relationship, or like what his purpose for Ayana Koji was at the White Room. I think that would be cool, and I got to see Koenji in action. I want to see him get serious. Little Koenji lore, I think, would be a treat for the fans.
Yeah. Oh, I think his purpose for Ayane Koji, I think it was talked about for the White Room. So he's just trying to like create intelligence from nothing. So you can have the shittiest genes, be dumb as hell, and we're gonna put you through this program and make you a genius. So he's trying to like manufacture intelligence pretty much. So that's why he's putting his son into it because like no one is beyond it. Like, and he even said he's like just because he's my kid, don't like go easy on him. Give it everything you got. And that's just why he ended up being so good. But I'm really interested in his mom. Who's his mom?
Yeah, that's very true. It'd be interesting to see what kind of person she is. If she has some of those like, more sensitive qualities, if she's like emotional, or if she's like the same as him and his dad, like real calculated and cold. That would be cool. That would definitely be something interesting for like a season 4.
I also want to know, like, is she just someone who's just not going to be talked about? Because that happens. You have My Hero Academia. We don't know Deku's dad at all. That's never talked about. There's that cool, fan theories. But it's like, would Ayana Koji's mom just, like, not be in it at all? Or is she going to be someone who's introduced later on? She comes in as a teacher or as someone else, and it's like, oh, like shit, that's where he kind of gets that lifeline or just something. You know what I mean? Because it's always about his dad. It's so focused on his dad, him versus his dad, and all about the White Room. But like, there's still that key piece missing, and also that key piece of why does he even want to create this like manufactured genius? Why? what does he get out of it?
Yeah, that would be something interesting. Like just to find out his motives and why he wants to create this like super genius. Um, but it's funny, like I immediately thought of One Piece. Like Luffy's mom never talked about, like, 20 some years in, and the author's just like, yeah, well, she doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so you're very right. Like it could be a situation where we don't ever find out about her. But I think it would give his like family a little bit more depth if we did get something on her, but
What
I'm
episode
not
was
sure if
it
we will.
where you were talking about like the deadbeat dads and overpowered main characters? Dude, it's also
Yeah.
with anime the just non-existent other parent.
Yeah, you have to be like a single deadbeat father to create the ultimate shonen powerhouse.
Like the moms just don't exist, or like for Deku's case, like just don't have a dad. You only can have one parent if you're an anime. If you're a main character in an anime, one parent only. That is it. The other
I
one's
mean,
just not talked about.
look at Gohan. He's not, Chi-Chi's still around. He's not quite what his dad is. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That single parent struggle, it breeds a different type of shonen man.
It really does.
That's fucking awesome.
Unbelievable, dude. It's like that is what funny though, like how a lot of animes have those like common occurrences, and you kind of wonder, is like there's something to it, or is it just kind of like laziness? Like we just don't feel like writing in another character for no reason. Um, but yeah, definitely interesting. I don't know. I feel like season four, dude, it's just cutthroat. It is just like that rise to the top, and it's only gonna be year two, which is insane as well. Not even the third year. So everything that happens next year at the same time, just could possibly not matter because we saw, in the first year they get to Class C, but then they're back to Class C. So I feel like it's going to be an absolute roller coaster of the classes constantly changing next season.
I think you're right. It's going to be like all out war, and everybody will kind of lay their cards on the table, and they'll be going after certain leaders and people they want out. And I think the administration will kind of do the same thing. They'll play their hand and try and get rid of people like Koji and exercise whatever vision they have for the college that they want. So it'll be students versus students, admin versus students. It'll be interesting. I'm super excited. I think season four will be, like you said, a roller coaster.
So yeah, so like we were also talking too about like how he doesn't really care. Like he says he talks about how much he cares Kay, but like she's first one out if he has
Yeah.
anything to do with it. Um, but what would happen, do you think, if the administration goes after his friends? If they're like, hey, listen, like if we can't beat you, how about we just ruin everyone's lives around you? Like, and then
I
what? You know what I
think
mean? Like you're
yeah.
untouchable, but everyone around you isn't. They're so easy to take advantage of and get rid of. So do you think that he would like be like, oh, like I'm gonna try to protect them, or I'm gonna be a sacrificial lamb or whatever? Or do you think he'd just be like, okay, go ahead, oh well.
I think he would probably be compelled to step in. Like, I guess it depends who, because he's not really emotionally attached to anybody, I would say, other than Horikita. Like, I think if she became a target, which I don't think she would because of her brother's kind of like good standing with the school, but like, I think he would definitely at least stand up for her, like, help her deal with the situation. But part of me thinks like there's not enough people that he would feel strongly enough about to go to battle for. You know what I mean? Like maybe Sakanayagi, because we've seen like the interim principal. Obviously doesn't like her. He's like tripped her and stuff. He's like gotten some good jabs in at her. So I could see him going after her. And I think with their relationship or whatever you want to call it, she cares more about Ayana Koji than he does her. I think. But I don't think he would be cool. I don't think he would sit idly by and watch her get like expelled or, have them put a ton of pressure on her and not do anything.
That's, I think, going to be a massive thing either for the next season, for like year two, or maybe in year three, is the student council. We talked about, class versus class, the students versus administration, but then the student council, that's going to be a war because Ayana Koji was talking about getting Horikita in, like, because her brother wants her to be the president. And he's like, maybe I should have done more to try to help with that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from that aspect as well. Because that kid is trying to expel everybody. That's another like big piece where that student council president is trying to get rid of everybody. He has the same view as the administration, where it's like we want less people.
Yeah, maybe he could be the White Room guy. I mean, it's hard to say, but like
Oh, I didn't even think
he
about
has
that. That's
you
good.
like he's social. It's clear he has like a lot of friendships and people that are like willing to work
Hmm.
with him to get whatever they want. But he, like you said, has that same view of like I don't care who you are, anybody who's in the way, get out of the way. And they did touch on Horikita. She kind of made that bet that she would outscore Ayana Koji in these written exams, which the only thing I can remember is Koji will get like straight 70s across the board, like really average scores. So like for him to like step up and get like a 95 or a 100 to beat Horikita, I think would, put a lot of eyes on him and people are like, "Oh, his academics are great." Like I don't think he wants that, but he would do that to get her into the student council.
I think that's one of the reasons why he made him and Kay official is because people already know he's already in the open. I mean, when those couple
Hmm.
of girls came up to him, it's kind of like, hey, like I know you're hiding your true potential. I know kind of like all these kind of things are going on. Like we can pay attention. He's kind of like, you know what, like we got to get ahead of it, right? Because people are gonna start talking. We're gonna have these rumors. Might as well get ahead of it and start to get into that light because people already can tell. I mean, that's something we saw in the beginning of this season. It's like all the big players, all the big names, people that like are actually smart in, big pieces in this insane psychological game. They instantly kind of knew, like, dude, you're the one pulling the strings. Like, shut up. Like, we can tell, and that's something that's been a common thread throughout the season of people finding out, like, dude, we know what you're capable of. And now some of the other people who aren't big pieces, they're finding out as well. They know that they don't know the extent of how good he is, but they know that like he's a lot better than what he claims.
You're definitely right. I don't think he can really hide any longer, pretend to be average. He'll have to go on the offense and, like you said, get ahead of it and just kind of commit to this goal he has of reaching Class A and whatever else, you know what I mean, he decides he wants to do. I think he'll obviously accomplish, but yeah, no more laying low. I think everybody in the school, especially his class, knows he's holding back.
Does he even want to anymore either? Because he keeps talking about possibly wanting to make an impression, and he's gonna have to kind of come out of the shadows for that. He wants to get better with relationships. You know what I mean? He's trying to like work on the key pieces. So I don't even know if he'd even want to stay in the shadows anymore. Um, but you've been watching some Frieren, haven't you?
Yeah, dude, it's good, man. Very good.
What test are you at?
I'm like at the very first episode when they get to like the mage exam. So they've just kind of gotten started.
Oh, they didn't do the testing yet.
Now I still have to see them fight like the other
Oh
Frieren.
my
I was
god,
like kind of
dude.
bummed, like all this family stuff this weekend. I'm like, just want to watch some Frieren, let's speed it up here. But I'm really excited because like I've seen a lot about the like the fights and the animations are really cool. I thought everything up to this point, just like the animation they use for like the magic, some of the demons' abilities, like they were really sick. I feel like there's a lot of
Yeah.
potential for these fights, even though it feels like kind of slice of life ish. There's some comedy. The battles are badass, so I'm really hyped to like see what happens in these fights, and then also like how they use the other characters because it's kind of just been like Freren's party, but they have some strong other characters and like some interesting people. I think they can go some places with.
Yeah, I think we might have touched on this last episode, but like they've really kind of stepped out of the slice of life in that kind of arc where it's kind of like more detailed, focusing more on the other characters as well, and then having it be more focused on like a an objective type thing. And I'm at the second to last episode, and dude, it's been insane. It's so cool. Fern gets her love, dude. I mean, that's something that we finally get to notice where
Yes.
it's like Fern's getting appreciated and kind of notice like, yo, like Fern's built different, and that's something that is like kind of talked about all season, is that or hinted at is like Fern's got something that not a lot of people do. So I'd love to see next season, even though this season was heavy, which I love. There was a lot of episodes. So I don't know when season two is coming out, but I wonder if that's going to be like a focus point where Fern really evolves into like a next level mage. That would be really cool to
Yeah, and
see.
I hope they follow just kind of like their growth because I guess that's kind of what Fern feels like she missed out on, in these last 80 to 100 years. She didn't really like keep precious the time that they
Oh,
had together.
Frieren?
So it'd be
You said Fern.
yeah, thinking about Fern. Fern is really badass. Like it's cool to hear that she does kind of get her flowers, but yeah, like the relationships, like hopefully she doesn't kind of repeat her past mistakes, like with Himmel and her teacher, and like kind of get close to Fern because I do like their dynamic, and obviously seeing like her and Fern and Stark together, they're kind of like your typical whatever 18-year-old. They're like awkward. They obviously are clearly into each other.
Clearly.
Um, so like hopefully they do kind of explore some of that. Like I touched on it maybe 2 episodes ago that they were going to do like a prequel thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's like a movie or what that is, but I'm really excited to see where it goes. Like for me, this was kind of a sleeper anime. Like I didn't really hear too much about it. I hadn't heard of the manga or anything, and I'm like, looks good, animation's cool. Like it seems chill, but there was just so much and it delivered. And then the fact that it was like more than 24 episodes, I'm all about it. There was plenty to eat there. So
Yeah.
very, very good stuff.
The one thing I didn't really like is that like it's not really a spoiler, but like Stark isn't like in the back half of the season. Like as they're taking the exam, he's just not in it. So like after each test, they'll like be like, "Oh, hi Stark," but then they go right back to the next test, and it's like, dude, is my boy gonna get some love next season? Is like he gonna have his kind of arc where he kind of grows and gets some focus, or like I don't know what's kind of going on there, but it seems like they had that trio, and it really kind of fell off towards the end, where like just Stark wasn't a part of it.
I would assume you're probably right. He'll get like his arc or some kind of equivalent. Um, I feel like he's kind of stepped up to the plate, but other than him playing that other guy's son, they don't really do too much with Stark. I can see him kind of being in his cheerleader arc here with the mage exams. I feel
Yeah,
like Stark would be a good cheerleader, but yeah, hopefully he kind of gets some development and maybe some new abilities or whatever, because or maybe he'll just be unga bunga, axe smash the whole time.
I think he will because like he's definitely gotten a lot stronger. Like and he's been insane, but like dude, another like sleeper this season has been the Apothecary Diaries. Like you have Frieren with like 110K like ratings, 4.9.
Wow,
Dude, Apothecary Diaries is a clean 5.0 with 106,000. Like
for
those two
real?
animes I feel like weren't
Damn.
talked about and they are just so good from start to finish. The stories are great, the animations are great, like the characters are great. Like I feel like those two animes were just true blessings this season because they're so slept on because of Solo Leveling and Classroom of the Elite, but like they were just such great animes and they were pretty long too. Frieren it was like nearly 30 episodes and Apothecary Diaries was like 24 I believe. So like the fact that you're getting anime of that quality and not getting like too much, I guess, like public attention because I mean you have 100,000 people giving an anime a rating. It's pretty liked. Like how much is Soul Loving? How many people did that? I can check on that in a second. But like the fact that we're getting animes like that is just insane. So it really kind of makes you excited going forward. Okay, Soul Loving has 212K. So like there's a lot of people that are rating these animes. But like the fact that that's like kind of some of the like low key animes we're getting of that kind of quality is just mind blowing, and it kind of just makes you excited for the next season. Of kind of like, what are we gonna get? Like we have a lot of the big names, we talked about them in that video, but it's like, what are some of these sleepers gonna be? Because sleepers nowadays are like top tier anime.
Heck yeah. And I feel like you're always like excited to, maybe watch the new big shonen or like a
Mm-hmm.
good battle anime, which is always cool. But it's always those sleepers that for me are like, there's so much quality and depth every season. Like you really do have to kind of pick stuff that might be outside of your genre or, just watch something because of the story or like that character catches your attention. For me, Freren was definitely that. And I definitely would have watched the Apothecary Diaries. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch that
It's
next.
good.
But I have to get to Tokyo
Dude,
Ghoul.
you have
They
to.
got to keep me
You
honest.
have
I
to.
have
You
to
have
watch it.
to.
Every time somebody brings something up, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll put that on my watch list. And it's just like, oh, Tokyo Ghoul. Sorry. So I have to stay true to my word here.
Dude, every time someone like brings up an anime to me, I'm like, just so you know, I'm gonna be pulling on all nighter tonight watching that. So like, if
Hell
you're gonna
yeah.
recommend an anime for me, buy me an energy drink as well. Because I'm going to need it, as I will refuse to sleep until I finish it. Because there's just too much on the watch list. I've been wanting to watch so many different animes, and it's like, oh my god! But like, such a great problem to have. But yeah, both of them were just phenomenal. They were amazing. It's great because like for someone like me, I always like explore all the different genres, so it's like really easy to find it. But I actually kind of prefer those animes a little bit more because like sub versus dub, right? They're both great. If you argue that one's so far superior than the other, like chill the fuck out. Like they're both really good
Yeah.
and they both have their pros and cons. Something I noticed is that like if you're going to be watching Classroom of the Elite, a Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Solo Leveling, it's better to watch the sub because those animes not only are they so popular, but they're so publicly talked about that the second an episode drops, all over the internet, all over clips, people talking about it. Like it's impossible to like not get a spoiler. Like and then the dub versus sub like gap is sometimes pretty big. Like for Demon Slayer, it was a month and a half. That's a month and a half of spoilers I was getting. And all this hype of everyone's like, oh my god, it's out, it's back, and I'm like still waiting another week where we didn't get it. So like I highly recommend for those kind of animes, watch the sub. Just stay up to date with it all. You're not getting spoilers. And you get to be a part of the hype and the love. But like what's really great about those sleeper animes is that since they're not being talked about, I can watch a dub for them. I can take my time and enjoy them and relax and just, you know, soak it in and just enjoy it for what it is. Um and there's not all the circus around it. You know what I mean? So like that's why I like really like those animes as well. They're sick.
I gotta say that is like a very wholesome take and a wonderful viewpoint, but it shows the duality. I'm over here like feral. I'm like, all right, season's over, time to spoil. Go to the manga, go to Reddit, like anywhere I can get anything. I'm like, yes, must consume. But you're definitely right. Like if you're watching a if you're watching a dub, you don't want stuff getting spoiled too. Like just going on Instagram, it's really hard not to get
It's impossible.
even like manga panels or like clips or whatever reels spoiling stuff. So like you got to be disciplined, but like I'll get sloppy or whatever, pull up Instagram and it's like oh my god, which has been nice because solo leveling, I get stuff on Facebook occasionally, but I feel like the community has done a good job of like letting us enjoy it. We haven't been spoiled yet, so kudos to the solo leveling fans. We're not out here pulling a Jujutsu Kaisen, if you will.
Well, I was getting worried because like I was swamped this weekend, so like I was like backed up and like I was starting. I like went on Instagram once and I like got one like a short or like whatever a reel. I was like shit, I'm done. We're done. I can't go on Instagram
Done for the
until
day.
I
Yeah.
watch the episode. I was like I'm not dealing with this because someone's like oh yeah he says Iris or Ice. I'm like shut the fuck up. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that.
I didn't just read that. I didn't read that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, we're good, we're
I
good,
feel
we're
you.
good. Like I got like a solo leveling to like leak, like not leak, but like spoiler, like from like way kind of ahead, and I'm like, I hope it's not real. Because if it is, like it's the first one I've seen, and I'm like you fucking assholes, like stop spoiling stuff. Like if it's in the
I know.
manga, it doesn't exist yet until it's in the anime. That's how it is. Okay, like
And
easy.
like you said, waiting week to week or like being a part of like the release, there is like a lot of joy in that. Like I do really
Oh,
enjoy that.
so much, yeah.
It helps you like, I don't know, emotionally invest a little bit more. Like I'm dying for like another episode of solo leveling in Classroom and like that's what, you know what I mean? I'll be there for these next seasons. So like that really has been a lot of fun as much as we love like you said hammering a whole like 24 episodes out in the night, which like we love that too, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Me
definitely
tonight.
enjoyable. Yeah, like yeah, me in a couple hours.
Yeah, like that's what I kind of meant. Like too is like that's why like I'd really suggest because like that's like the first time where I was like okay like I started Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer like dubbed, so like I feel like I just have to watch it dubbed because it's just too weird hearing different voices. But it's like I've really enjoyed solo leveling so much better because I'm watching the sub. I'm able to be a part of it with everybody each and every week, and then when I see those clips, I'm like, yeah, dude, I can't believe it. That was sick. It's kind of like that's where I feel like I said, both the dub and the sub, they have their pros and their cons. When you have that
Hmm.
like really top tier, really popular anime, just watch it sub, be a part of it with everybody, enjoy it, and you're just gonna enjoy it a lot better. But when it's a little bit more low key, that's like yeah, just watch the dub, sit back, relax, you can lay in bed and watch. You don't have to like focus on it, and you can just like enjoy it. And it's like that's where they kind of have like their their pros and cons. Their advantages and disadvantages. So I definitely enjoyed watching Solo Leveling, like up to date with it. It's been so much better. And Classroom of the Elite, same thing. I actually started that dub as well, and I kind of forced myself to go to sub, and it's been awesome. I would have been pissed because that's an anime where it's like things happen and you're like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like those episodes where like it turns on a dime and it's like, wait, they got so and so expelled. Like what the hell? So not seeing those leaks has been really nice.
Yes, definitely. That's a very good point. As complete degenerate like myself, I can appreciate your wholesome view. I should take a tip, perhaps.
Yeah, like we're polar opposites in that way. You're just like, I need more. Like, tell me exactly what happens at the very end. Where I'm like, I just want to like be patient with it, because I want to enjoy it.
It started with Demon Slayer. Like, it's just too good. I have to know what happens. So
I was,
credit, I guess
yeah.
it's a credit to the writing, but like, just shows my impatience, if you will.
That's the funny part, because I was forced to know everything that happens in Demon Slayer. Like Google even spoiled it for me. I wanted one simple question, like, is there going to be like a season 2 or like a season 3? And it was like, by the way, this happens, and I'm like, what
Oh
the?
yeah.
I'm like the thing we were talking about, like that one massive spoiler. That's what popped up on Google first thing when I asked if there's a season 3 of Demon Slayer. I'm like, are you serious? Like that's like the literally the end, the big thing that
Yeah.
happens at the end. I'm like, like shame on you, just shame on you. So,
Yeah.
Demon Slayer is one of the most spoiled like animes out there. Like people just talk about all of them, and it's bad. But yeah, like Solo Leveling has been really nice about it. Same with Classroom of the Elite. A lot of these big ones, I haven't really like, heard anything. So I'm really excited, really to start to some new anime boys. I mean, next week it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a whole different podcast. We're gonna be talking about so many different animes. We're gonna be hyped. Tons of just blind delusional speculation because we're going to be getting one episode and we're like, this is going to happen.
Dude, get
And it's
ready for
just
the
not.
crackpot theories. I've been practicing for a long time. I'm ready. We'll
Dude,
see how good my prediction skills are.
should we do that next podcast? We're going to look at some of the new animes that come out. Windbreaker is going to be coming out from now till then. We'll just start making some like bizarre possible, predictions and seeing if we can hit on some of them.
Yes,
That's what
dude,
we'll have
I'm
to do.
absolutely down.
All right,
And
sweet.
I'm gonna write notes and then I'll save them and like look back and how spot on we were.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna be awesome. But I think that wraps it up. You got anything you wanna say as we go out?
I feel like it's been a super exciting season. There's been a lot of like really fun moments, fun animes. Um, it's just got me hooked, man. I'm excited for this next season, and I think there's going to be a lot. I'm excited for the variety and, like you said, be going from anime to anime, and it's been sick. So looking forward to the next season and keeping it going.
Yeah, it's like I was telling you or like before, like it's just I think the next season of anime, this upcoming little bit is just gonna be game changing. I think we're gonna have some phenomenal animes. I feel like the podcast is gonna completely evolve. I feel like all this awesome stuff's gonna happen. So closing the chapter, on the past season. It's been fun, but just looking forward, looking ahead. It's gonna be awesome. So hope you boys and girls have enjoyed. You let us know what you're looking forward to most next anime season, what's coming up. But that is it. Peace.
Sweet peace.